This audiobook uncovers the hidden principle behind all creation, that the universe obeys you, moment by moment. As you listen, you'll discover why your inner state commands external reality. Align within, and the universe has no choice but to respond. Universe obeys you. Introduction. The universe moves in silence, yet nothing escapes its awareness. Every thought you harbor, every emotion you allow to take root, sends a signal into the unseen architecture of creation. This is not poetry nor superstition, but a living law, ancient, exact, and unfailing. As surely as stars hold their course and tides obey the moon, your inner world shapes the form of your outer life. You are not a passive observer within this vast design. You are a living center of influence. Your consciousness operates like a sacred instrument, continually tuning itself and broadcasting its tone into the infinite field. The universe does not listen to your spoken hopes or fleeting wishes. It responds to the deeper music within you, the beliefs you carry, the emotions you dwell in, the truths you quietly accept as real. Many wander through life puzzled by unanswered prayers and unfulfilled affirmations. They speak words of faith while secretly feeling doubt, proclaim abundance while expecting lack. The universe cannot contradict itself. It echoes what is most real within you, not what is merely spoken. This is the law of resonance, and it governs all things without exception. Alignment is the hidden key. When your inner feeling matches your desire, effort dissolves and results appear naturally. This harmony is not achieved through force or pretense, but through sincere trust and quiet certainty. Authentic emotion carries authority. The universe recognizes it instantly. You were never meant to wrestle with reality or plead with fate. Your true role is to align with the current that already knows the way. As your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs come into harmony, you reclaim your rightful place as a conscious co-creator. Remember this always. The universe is not distant, indifferent, or deaf. It is intimate, responsive, and precise. It does not need convincing. It obeys what you are. Your power lies not in asking for change, but in becoming the state that commands it. Before we get into the book, comment "I am ready" to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening of Inner Command. Chapter 1. The Moment. The Mirror Speaks. You are about to discover one of the most fundamental truths governing your existence. A truth so simple yet so transformative that it will forever alter how you perceive your relationship with the universe. In a small coastal town, Mabel lived each day convinced that fortune had turned its back on her. Each morning brought new frustrations: missed buses, spilled coffee, unexpected bills. Yet on one ordinary Tuesday, as she voiced her usual grievances about another delayed meeting, something extraordinary occurred. With each complaint that left her lips, she witnessed an immediate echo in her surroundings: a dropped file, a failed connection, a forgotten password. In that moment, the veil lifted, and she saw with startling clarity how the universe acted not as her adversary, but as a mirror, faithfully reflecting her inner state back to her. This revelation connects to an ancient wisdom. The world responds not to what you want, but to what you are. Your emotional frequency acts as a signal, broadcasting continuously into the infinite field of possibilities. The universe, in its perfect precision, can only respond in kind. Consider Chester, whose story illuminates another facet of this truth. He began a simple practice of appreciating life's subtle artistry, the way morning light danced through his window, how his coffee swirled in mesmerizing patterns, the synchronized flight of birds against the sky. As his awareness of beauty expanded, larger blessings began appearing in his life, unasked for and unexpected. Job opportunities emerged, relationships healed, and solutions arrived effortlessly. He had unknowingly aligned himself with the frequency of abundance, and the universe responded accordingly. These accounts reveal a profound truth. Your experience of reality shifts not when circumstances change, but when your inner broadcast transforms. The universe operates as a perfect reflection, not a punishing force. Practice. When frustration arises, pause. Look around your immediate environment and speak aloud one thing functioning with perfect grace. Perhaps the steady rhythm of your breath, the reliable flow of electricity, or the intricate pattern of leaves outside your window. Feel the subtle shift in your emotional state. Within hours or even minutes, watch as external circumstances begin to mirror your new frequency. This simple practice demonstrates how quickly the universe responds when you consciously adjust your inner signal. Chapter 2. When Desire Learns to Whisper. Within the annals of ancient wisdom lies a truth so essential yet so frequently misunderstood. Through the mists of time comes the story of Hazel, whose earnest devotion to manifestation led her down a path many traverse. Day after day she stood in her garden, voice raised to the heavens, declaring her desires with increasing desperation. Yet the universe remained silent, seeming to turn a deaf ear to her determined proclamations. The secret that eluded Hazel dwells not in the volume of our declarations, but in the quiet certainty of our hearts. When you shout at the universe, you reveal a fundamental misalignment with its nature. It is as though you believe the cosmic forces require convincing, when in truth, they await only your alignment. The universe speaks the language of certainty. It responds not to the desperate pleas of doubt, but to the serene knowing that stems from unwavering faith. Your relationship with creation flourishes not through force, but through the gentle acceptance that what you seek already exists within the realm of possibility. This truth unveiled itself through Clyde, a musician who discovered the art of effortless manifestation. Rather than wrestling with his desires, he began a curious practice. On small pieces of parchment, he would inscribe his wishes, dreams of performing in grand halls, of touching hearts through melody. But instead of clutching these papers with anxiety, he would tuck them away and lose himself in dance. In those moments of pure joy, when his feet moved in harmony with the rhythm, something magical occurred. His desires manifested with surprising speed and grace. Not because he had mastered some complex formula, but because in those moments of abandoned happiness, his entire being radiated the frequency of trust. The wisdom here transcends mere technique. Joy, in its purest form, broadcasts the most powerful signal to the universe, one of complete faith in the natural order of abundance. When you dance with life itself, you demonstrate a trust so deep that the universe cannot help but respond in kind. Now comes an ancient practice, passed down through generations of those who understood the art of gentle manifestation. As night falls, find a quiet moment. Rather than forcing your desires into being, allow yourself to sink into the feeling of their fulfillment. Breathe as though you already dwell in the reality you seek. Let a smile play upon your lips, not from effort, but from the peaceful knowing that the universe moves in perfect synchronicity with your aligned heart. Watch as the world around you begins to shift, responding to the quiet certainty of your being. Chapter 3. The Invisible Contract. In the heart of a bustling market, a merchant named Rosie tended her small shop of herbs and spices. Day after day she would whisper to herself, "Nothing ever works out for me," as customers passed by her stall without a glance. And true to her words, her fortunes dwindled, each quiet prediction manifesting with unwavering precision. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, honored every word of her belief. When she expected her finest saffron to spoil, it did. When she anticipated her regular customers would find other vendors, they vanished. The universe matched her frequency with the precision of an ancient mirror, reflecting back exactly what she held in her heart. You see, within the vast cosmic order, there exists an unwritten agreement between you and the universe. This contract is not penned with ink, but sealed with the energy of your deepest convictions. Your assumptions act as clauses, defining the terms of your reality with remarkable accuracy. The universe, being the ultimate honorable partner, fulfills its end of the agreement without fail. Consider Vernon, a humble scribe who discovered this truth through an accidental experiment. One morning, he chose to assume that every person he encountered would treat him with warmth and kindness. He didn't force this belief or shout it to the heavens. He simply held it as naturally as one holds the certainty that the sun will rise. The response was immediate and extraordinary. The normally stern librarian greeted him with an unexpected smile. A stranger stopped to help him gather scattered papers without being asked. The local baker added an extra pastry to his order, saying she felt inspired to share. Vernon had unknowingly revised his cosmic contract, and the universe rushed to honor the new terms. This power of assumption operates with unwavering consistency. It cares not whether you assume lack or abundance, struggle or ease. It simply matches your expectation with mathematical precision. The universe reads your assumptions as binding agreements and orchestrates reality accordingly. Your role in this cosmic dance is simpler than you might imagine. You need not struggle or strain. Instead, you are invited to become conscious of the terms you're setting through your assumptions. Each expectation you hold becomes a clause in your agreement with existence itself. Ancient practice. As the first light touches the horizon each morning, find a moment of stillness. In this sacred space, declare silently to yourself, "Today's contract reads ease, surprise, and support." Feel the truth of these words settling into your being, not as a hope, but as an acknowledged fact. Move through your day as though this agreement has already been notarized by cosmic law. Watch as the universe, your faithful partner, begins to co-sign your new terms with perfect precision. Chapter 4. How Feeling Writes the Script. In the heart of an ancient valley lived a merchant named Clara, whose days stretched endlessly beneath the weight of ceaseless toil. From dawn until the stars emerged, she labored at her trading post, believing that only through relentless effort could abundance find its way to her door. Yet, with each passing season, prosperity remained just beyond her grasp, like water slipping through cupped hands. The universe speaks not through the language of strain, but through the whispers of your emotional world. Each feeling becomes a command, each persistent thought a blueprint for tomorrow's reality. Clara's story unveils a truth as old as time itself. Your emotional frequency acts as the quill that writes your destiny. When anxiety drives your actions, the universe mirrors that frequency with experiences that justify more anxiety. When exhaustion underlies your efforts, reality responds with circumstances that demand even greater exertion. This is not punishment, but perfect reflection. The cosmic mirror showing you exactly what you broadcast. Consider how Hank, a humble craftsman, discovered this truth. For years, he too chased success through endless labor, his workshop light burning late into the night. But one evening, as he sat beneath an ancient oak tree, a profound peace settled over him. In that moment, he felt completely supported by the invisible forces of life. Rather than pushing against the current, he allowed himself to float upon it. What followed seemed like magic to those who watched, but was simply the universe responding to his new frequency. Clients appeared as if guided by an unseen hand. Opportunities arose without struggle. Money flowed not from force, but from harmony. Hank had stumbled upon the sacred truth. Abundance follows ease, not effort. The power of creation lies not in doing, but in being. When you align with the frequency of prosperity through inner peace, you become a natural magnet for abundance. Your relaxed certainty becomes the foundation upon which wealth builds its home. This wisdom echoes through the ages. Transformation occurs not through the tension of trying, but through the magnetism of allowing. When you release the grip of anxiety and settle into the knowing that you are already supported, the universe rushes to match your certainty with corresponding circumstances. Ancient practice. Throughout your day, treat relaxation as an act of manifestation. Breathe abundance into your cells and feel prosperity before you see its receipt. It will arrive on that frequency. Chapter 5. The Friendly Conspiracy of Coincidence. In the bustling marketplace of the world, countless messages await those with eyes to perceive them. Yet you pass by these divine whispers daily, mistaking celestial orchestration for mere coincidence. The truth lies waiting in plain sight, encoded in patterns that dance at the edge of your awareness. Once there lived a woman named Nettie, whose mornings began with numbers that seemed to follow her everywhere. The same sequences appeared on clocks, receipts, and license plates, a mysterious rhythm she initially dismissed as meaningless chance. But one day she chose to bow in gratitude each time these numerical patterns crossed her path. With this simple shift, the universe's grand design began to reveal itself. Each repeated number became a loving nod from the infinite, acknowledging her growing awareness. Soon, opportunities appeared with perfect timing. A dream job posting at exactly 11:11, a life-changing phone call at 3:33, an unexpected solution presenting itself at 4:44. The numbers weren't random. They were cosmic punctuation marks in the story of her unfolding destiny. The universe speaks in synchronicities, weaving a tapestry of meaning through seemingly random events. These patterns serve as confirmation that you walk in harmony with the grand design. Every coincidence carries a message. Every repeated sign holds significance. The key lies not in forcing meaning, but in opening yourself to the dialogue already taking place. Consider Earl, who stood frustrated at a bus stop one autumn morning, watching his usual transport pull away without him. In that moment of apparent misfortune, he met an elderly gentleman who would become his most treasured mentor. What appeared as an inconvenient delay was actually the universe's precise timing, orchestrating a meeting that would transform his path. What you perceive as accidents are often divine appointments. When you trust the timing of the universe, every delay reveals its purpose. Every detour leads to discovery. The cosmic choreographer moves all pieces perfectly, though its grand design may not be immediately apparent to earthly eyes. Your role is to recognize and acknowledge these sacred signs. Each synchronicity serves as confirmation that you are seen, heard, and guided by forces beyond your comprehension. The universe delights in showing you its presence through these subtle winks and nods. Practice. When patterns emerge in your experience, be they numbers, symbols, or meaningful coincidences, pause to acknowledge them aloud. Speak your gratitude for these cosmic breadcrumbs guiding your way. Say simply, "I see you. I thank you. I trust your timing." This verbal recognition strengthens your partnership with the universe's invisible scheduling department, creating a feedback loop of awareness and grace. As you honor these sacred signs, watch how the synchronicities multiply, leading you ever more precisely toward your highest good. Chapter 6. When Doubt Pretends to Protect. In the shade of an ancient olive tree, a merchant would gather children to share tales of wisdom. Among his stories was one of a woman who carried an empty jar everywhere, refusing to fill it with water despite her thirst. She feared the disappointment of finding it leaked, so she chose the certainty of emptiness over the risk of loss. Her dry lips spoke of wisdom, but her parched spirit told a different tale. Like this woman, you may guard yourself against life's disappointments through the armor of skepticism. Fanny understood this dance well. Each morning she would catch herself scanning for reasons why things wouldn't work out, believing this habit protected her heart from the sting of unmet hopes. Yet the universe's abundance flowed around her like a river past a stone, unable to touch her shores. The wisdom whispered through ages reveals that doubt is not wisdom's twin, but fear's faithful servant. When you fortify yourself against disappointment, you simultaneously wall off the path through which blessings arrive. The universe cannot deliver through closed doors, no matter how reasonable the closing may seem. Your mind may paint skepticism as sophisticated, a mark of intelligence, but the deepest truth remains. The universe responds not to your thoughts' complexity, but to your heart's openness. To receive, you must risk being received. To transform, you must risk being transformed. Floyd's tale illuminates this truth with striking clarity. When his position of 15 years dissolved beneath him, he stood at wisdom's crossroads. Rather than armoring himself with bitterness or shrouding himself in fear, he chose to view this ending as the universe's realignment. Instead of fighting the current, he floated upon it, trusting the flow would carry him to shores more aligned with his soul's calling. Within weeks, an opportunity emerged that matched not only his skills, but his deepest passions. A role he would never have discovered had he clung to what was lost. His surrender proved more powerful than any resistance could have been. The universe does not ask you to abandon discernment, but to release the fear that masks itself as protection. True power lies not in guarding against life, but in opening to its possibilities. Each moment presents a choice, to shrink behind walls of doubt or to stand vulnerable before the unknown, ready to receive. Practice. Find a quiet space and hold yourself as you would a cherished friend. Let your affirmations become gentle whispers of comfort rather than demands for manifestation. Speak softly. I am safe in my openness. I trust life's unfolding. My heart knows the way. Allow faith to replace control with each breath, not through force, but through friendship with your own spirit. The universe responds most powerfully to this tender trust, this willing vulnerability that says, I am ready to receive. Chapter 7. The Current of Gratitude. In ancient scrolls there lies a tale of a desert wanderer who discovered an oasis. Each morning she would methodically count her blessings, the water, the shade, the dates from the palms, yet abundance seemed to shrink from her mechanical inventory. Only when she began dancing with joy while drawing water, singing praise while eating dates, did the oasis expand, its springs flowing more generously with each spontaneous celebration. Lenora's story echoes this timeless truth. Night after night, she dutifully listed her blessings in leather-bound journals, wondering why this practice, though admirable, failed to unlock the legendary power of gratitude. The universe responded with equivalent energy. Mechanical returns for mechanical thanks. Then came the awakening. One morning, while sipping her coffee, Lenora felt sudden appreciation surge through her for the warmth of the cup in her hands. Without planning or writing, she let that feeling flow freely. Later that day, unexpected gifts appeared, a surprise bonus, a call from a long-lost friend, a solution to a persistent problem. The teaching crystallized. Gratitude is not a bookkeeping exercise, but a living current of energy. This understanding deepened through Ralph's experience. Rather than waiting for results to materialize, he began offering thanks in advance. "Thank you for the perfect opportunity," he would say while still searching. "Thank you for the abundance flowing to me," he would whisper before checking his account. His gratitude became prophetic, pulling future blessings into the present moment through the magnetic force of appreciation. The universe responds not to the words of thanks, but to the electrical charge of genuine feeling. When gratitude shifts from duty to delight, from after-the-fact recording to present-moment aliveness, it becomes a powerful attracting force. Each spontaneous thank you sends ripples through the fabric of creation, calling forth more reasons for celebration. Ancient practice. As the sun rises and sets, pause to thank the invisible forces orchestrating your good fortune. Speak to the air as though it carries your message to a vast delivery system working tirelessly on your behalf. Feel the warmth of expectation in your chest as you acknowledge the perfect timing of all things. Watch as the atmosphere itself begins to pulse with the energy of your appreciation, bringing more and more reasons to celebrate. Chapter 8. Letting go without losing focus. In the shadows of an ancient temple, a weaver named Betty sat at her loom day after day, her fingers raw from obsessively crafting the perfect tapestry. Each thread she wove was matched with worry. Would the pattern emerge as she envisioned? Would her work be worthy? Night after night, she unraveled sections that failed to meet her exacting standards, starting anew with trembling hands and an anxious heart. The universe speaks through paradox. The tighter you grasp, the more elusive your desires become. When you chase manifestation with desperation, you signal to the cosmic forces that you doubt their wisdom and timing. This doubt becomes a wall between you and your desires, built brick by brick with worry and attachment. Your role in creation is not to force outcomes, but to plant seeds of intention and trust their natural unfoldment. Just as a gardener cannot pull flowers from the soil to make them grow faster, you cannot rush the materialization of your desires through anxious monitoring. The very act of releasing attachment opens the channel through which abundance flows. In the marketplace of a distant city, Milton dreamed of finding the perfect dwelling place. For months, he frantically searched every listing, called every agent, and visited countless properties. Each rejection felt like a personal affront from the universe. Exhausted and discouraged, he finally surrendered. Not his desire, but his grip on how and when it would manifest. In this space of surrender, Milton began a different approach. Each evening he would sit quietly and imagine himself in his ideal home. He felt the sunlight streaming through windows he hadn't yet seen. He arranged furniture he hadn't yet bought. He experienced the joy of entertaining friends in rooms that existed only in his mind. He stopped pursuing and started preparing, energetically, emotionally, spiritually. Within weeks, the perfect apartment found him through an unexpected conversation with a stranger. The real space matched his mental image with uncanny precision, down to the morning light in the kitchen. His experience reveals a fundamental truth. When you release the how and when, while maintaining unwavering faith in the what, the universe conspires to exceed your expectations. The current of creation flows most freely through open hands. Clenched fists cannot receive. Your desires are seeds already planted in the fertile soil of infinite possibility. Your task is not to dig them up repeatedly to check their progress, but to water them with faith and trust their natural timing. Ancient practice of conscious release. Today, engage in this timeless ritual of trust. Find a quiet moment and visualize your heart's desire in vivid detail. Feel the joy of its reality as though it already exists. Then, with deep breath and open hands, speak these words to the universe. It's on its way. Let peace fill the space where worry once lived. Return to your present moment with the knowing that preparation and patience are forms of power. Your now is sacred. It's the soil from which tomorrow's blessings grow. Chapter 9. The Energy Behind Words. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Opal prided herself on maintaining perfect politeness, even when her heart harbored different sentiments. "It's perfectly fine," she would say through gritted teeth when customers haggled ruthlessly. "Don't worry about it," she would assure those who arrived late, while resentment simmered beneath her smile. For years, she wondered why her business remained stagnant despite her unfailing courtesy. The universe perceives not the words that cross your lips, but the energy that emanates from your being. It is an impeccable translator of truth, seeing through the veil of socially acceptable phrases to the authentic vibration underneath. When your words speak peace, but your energy broadcasts discord, you create a split frequency that confuses the magnetic field of manifestation. This discord is not limited to obvious contradictions. It lives in the subtle space between what you say and what you feel, in the forced smile, the tense shoulders, the quiet sigh that follows "I'm fine." These mixed signals create static in your manifestation frequency. like trying to tune two radio stations simultaneously. The power lies not in crafting perfect phrases, but in aligning your inner and outer expressions. Your emotional broadcast must match your verbal declaration for the universe to respond with clarity. This is not an invitation to unleash negativity, but rather a call to elevate your genuine vibration before speaking. Howard, a negotiator in the silk trade, discovered this truth through an unexpected path. Known for his serious demeanor, he would often release his tension through heavy sighs between meetings. His negotiations frequently stalled until one day, when something amusing struck him during a particularly tense discussion. His genuine laughter shifted the entire atmosphere of the room. From that moment, Howard began intentionally finding humor in challenging situations. He didn't force false cheer. Instead, he cultivated authentic lightness. Soon, his negotiations began concluding with surprising ease. Deals that once seemed impossible manifested naturally. The universe responded not to his tactical approach, but to his genuine shift in energy. This ancient wisdom reveals that manifestation flows through authenticity. The universe honors truth above politeness, genuine feeling above proper phrases. When you align your words with your true vibration, or better yet, elevate your vibration to match your highest intentions, you become a clear channel for manifestation. The practice of vibrational authenticity. Speak fewer words but truer emotions. Let tone carry gratitude even when phrases are simple, and the material world will translate accordingly. Chapter 10. The Permission to Receive. In the quiet corners of a village, a woman named Doris devoted herself to helping others bloom. Her garden overflowed with herbs she freely shared. Her kitchen produced meals for any neighbor in need, and her door remained open to those seeking counsel. Yet when others attempted to reciprocate with praise or gifts, she would wave them away, saying, "Oh no, I couldn't possibly," or "That's unnecessary." The universe operates through an eternal flow. Like breath itself, it requires both giving and receiving to maintain its sacred rhythm. When you close yourself to receiving, you create a dam in the stream of abundance. Your resistance to acceptance sends a powerful message to the cosmic forces: I am unworthy of return. This belief, though unspoken, echoes louder than any verbal declaration of desire. Consider how a flower both gives its beauty and receives the sun's light without hesitation. It does not question whether it deserves the warmth, nor does it attempt to dim its own radiance. This natural exchange exemplifies the law of reciprocity that governs all creation. Calvin, a humble craftsman, discovered this truth through an unexpected path. For years, he dismissed compliments about his woodwork with, "It's nothing special," or "Anyone could do it." His workshop remained modestly busy, but prosperity seemed to hover just beyond reach. One day, after completing a particularly beautiful piece, a customer praised his artistry. Instead of his usual deflection, he paused, breathed deeply, and simply said, "Thank you. I'll receive that." Something shifted in that moment. The simple act of accepting appreciation opened a channel. More customers began finding their way to his door. Larger commissions appeared. Even random acts of kindness multiplied. A stranger paying for his meal, an unexpected discount on supplies, a chance meeting leading to a valuable connection. The universe had been attempting to deliver abundance all along, but it required his willingness to receive. His new practice of accepting with grace demonstrated that worthiness isn't earned through endless giving. It's claimed through the courage to receive. Ancient practice. Stand before your mirror each morning. Meet your own gaze and speak these words. I am worthy of receiving all good things. When someone offers help, praise, or a gift, pause before responding. Breathe in deeply and say, "Thank you. I receive this with gratitude." Let each acceptance strengthen your worthiness muscle. The universe will respond by increasing its offerings, matching your expanding capacity to receive. Part 2. The Language of Vibration. Chapter 11. Listening with Emotion. Something shifted in that moment. A door opened in Calvin's heart. He began practicing acceptance with small gestures, a cup of coffee offered by a friend, a word of appreciation from a customer, assistance with carrying materials. With each, "Thank you, I'll receive that," his world expanded. Orders increased without effort. Opportunities appeared as if summoned, and his work gained recognition in ways he had never imagined possible. Your relationship with receiving mirrors, your relationship with worthiness. When you deflect blessings, you tell the universe your cup is already full, or worse, that you do not deserve its overflow. This pattern creates an energetic barrier that even the most powerful manifestations cannot penetrate. The law of attraction responds not to your words, but to your willingness. Just as water fills every space it's given, abundance flows into every area where you grant it permission. Your acceptance is not greed. It is acknowledgement of the universe's natural generosity. Think of how the ocean accepts every river without question, how the sky embraces all clouds without judgment. This is your natural state, open, receptive, worthy of all that flows toward you. When you resist receiving, you deny not only yourself, but also the joy of those who wish to give. The secret lies in understanding that receiving is not taking. It is participating in the universal dance of exchange. Every time you accept gracefully, you strengthen the circulation of abundance for all. Your willingness to receive becomes a blessing to the giver, completing the circuit of energy that powers all manifestation. Begin with small acceptances. When someone offers a compliment, breathe it in fully. When assistance appears, welcome it with gratitude. When opportunity knocks, open the door wide. Feel the difference between polite deflection and genuine reception. Notice how your energy shifts, how your heart expands, how the world responds to your new willingness to be blessed. Remember, the universe cannot deliver abundance into closed hands. Opening to receive is not an act of selfishness. It is an expression of trust in the infinite supply available to all. Your acceptance becomes an affirmation. I am worthy of life's gifts, and in receiving, I allow abundance to flow freely through me to others. Practice this ancient truth. Whatever you welcome multiplies. Whatever you resist persists. By accepting blessings gracefully, you declare your readiness for more. Each thank you becomes a seed. Each acceptance an invitation for greater abundance to find its way to your door. Let the wisdom of acceptance guide your path forward. Trust that you are meant to receive as naturally as you breathe. Your worthiness is not earned, it is inherent. In embracing this truth, you align with the fundamental law of prosperity. The universe's gifts flow most abundantly to those who are ready to receive them. Chapter 12. The Calm Between Thoughts. In the bustling marketplace of an ancient city, a woman named Lottie sat in her small shop, surrounded by fabrics and trinkets. Day after day, she would frantically plan new ways to attract customers, create elaborate displays, and devise complex strategies. Yet success remained elusive, slipping through her fingers like grains of sand. One afternoon, exhausted from her constant striving, she simply sat in silence. As the sun's rays filtered through her window, casting gentle shadows on the floor, a profound peace settled over her. In that moment of stillness, an insight arose as naturally as a flower opening to the morning light. Her very exhaustion had been blocking the flow of inspiration. Within this newfound quiet, solutions emerged effortlessly. She understood which items to display, which colors would catch the eye, and how to arrange her shop to welcome abundance. The universe spoke clearly in the language of intuition, unhindered by the noise of desperate planning. In another part of the city lived a merchant named Percy, who struggled with timing his trade decisions. Each morning, he would rush to the marketplace, his mind cluttered with worries about profits and losses. His transactions often felt forced, and opportunities seemed to slip past him. One dawn, instead of hurrying to his shop, Percy sat in his courtyard and closed his eyes for just 5 minutes, breathing in the morning air. When he finally arrived at his stall, a messenger was waiting with news of a profitable trading opportunity. This pattern repeated day after day. His brief moments of morning stillness invariably led to perfectly timed encounters and advantageous deals. The universe speaks in whispers, not shouts. Its guidance flows most clearly through the channels of stillness. When you quiet your mind, you tune in to the frequency of divine timing. Like a lake that must be still to reflect the sky perfectly, your consciousness must settle to mirror the universe's messages accurately. Your emotions are the universe's first language, but they can only be heard clearly in moments of inner quiet. In the spaces between thoughts, in the pauses between actions, wisdom flows most purely. These are not moments of idleness, but rather instances of profound connection with the cosmic intelligence that orchestrates all of existence. Practice. Throughout your day, create small islands of silence. Let your breath slow, your thoughts settle, and your awareness expand. These quiet moments are not escapes from life, but doorways to deeper understanding. In these precious pauses, feel how your energy realigns with the natural flow of abundance. Watch as the universe responds to your stillness with perfectly timed inspirations and opportunities. Chapter 13. The Magnetic Quality of Joy. In a modest dwelling at the edge of a village lived a woman who believed her smile must wait for fortune's arrival. Each morning, Sadie would rise before dawn, her shoulders heavy with determination, postponing all pleasures until she achieved her goals. "Once I succeed," she would whisper to herself, "then I shall celebrate." The universe, ever faithful to its laws, could only echo back the heaviness she carried. Her delayed joy became delayed prosperity, each mirroring the other in perfect harmony. Like a flower refusing to bloom until the garden was complete, she remained closed to life's sweetness. The truth whispers thus: the universe responds not to future promises, but to present frequencies. Your emotional signature becomes your magnetic force, drawing experiences that match its tone. When you postpone joy, you postpone abundance, for they are not separate energies, but different expressions of the same force. Witness how this wisdom unfolded in the life of Rufus, a humble craftsman who discovered this sacred law through living. While his circumstances appeared unchanged, he began weaving small pleasures into ordinary moments. He lit aromatic candles during his morning tea, transforming a simple ritual into a sacred ceremony. While completing mundane tasks, he filled his space with melodies that made his spirit dance. Each moment became an opportunity to generate joy, not because of external rewards, but for the pure delight of being alive. As though awakening to his frequency, the universe began orchestrating a symphony of abundance around him. Opportunities appeared like morning dew, naturally and without strain. His craft found appreciation in unexpected places, and prosperity flowed as naturally as his joy had become. This ancient wisdom reveals, joy is not life's reward, it is life's invitation. Your delight becomes a signal to the universe, announcing your readiness for more experiences that match your vibration. When you choose happiness first, you reverse the common illusion that circumstances lead to feelings. Instead, your feelings lead to circumstances. Sacred practice. Create an appointment with joy in your calendar today. Mark specific times for activities that light up your spirit. Perhaps a sunrise walk, a moment of dance, or silent communion with beauty. Treat these moments not as mere pleasures, but as powerful transmissions to the universe, declaring, I am ready for more experiences that match this frequency. Let your happiness become your prayer, your celebration become your request. The universe cannot help but respond with corresponding gifts. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. Trust as Frequency. In the heart of winter, when the world seemed frozen in doubt, there lived a woman named Hattie who demanded proof before trust. Each morning, she would meticulously review her manifestation journal, searching for concrete evidence that her intentions were working. Without tangible results, her faith withered like autumn leaves. "Show me first," she would whisper to the universe, "and then I shall believe." Yet the cosmic laws operate in reverse. Belief shapes the clay of reality, not the other way around. Like trying to see your reflection before stepping in front of a mirror, Hattie's approach kept her trapped in a loop of waiting. The universe speaks in the language of certainty. It responds not to what you hope might happen, but to what you know is already done in the unseen realms. This knowing, this unshakable inner certainty, becomes the foundation upon which physical reality builds its structures. Consider the tale of Elmer, a humble bookkeeper who felt an inexplicable pull to leave his hometown. He had no job waiting, no connections in the new city, nothing but an inner knowing that whispered, "Go." Against all logical advice, he followed this subtle guidance. Within days of arriving, a chance encounter at a local cafe led to a partnership opportunity. A week later, he found the perfect apartment through a series of synchronized events. By the month's end, his income had doubled through ventures he couldn't have planned if he tried. The universe responded not to his detailed plans, but to his unwavering trust in the unseen. This knowing beyond evidence is your natural state. When a seed is planted, it doesn't question its ability to become a flower. It simply grows. Your desires planted in fertile consciousness require the same innocent certainty. Yet modern minds resist this ancient truth, demanding guarantees before action. This resistance itself becomes the wall between you and your desires. The universe cannot deliver certainty to one who demands proof first, any more than a mirror can reflect an image before you stand before it. Sacred practice. Whenever fear whispers its doubts, respond immediately with the words, "It's handled." Let these words carry the same natural certainty as knowing the sun will rise tomorrow. This isn't an affirmation to convince yourself. It's a reminder of what's already true in the unseen realms. Watch how this calm certainty transforms outcomes faster than any anxious planning ever could. Chapter 15. How Resistance Hides in Hard Work. Trust vibrates at the highest frequency. When you align with this force, the universe moves mountains without strain. Yet so many souls, like Nancy, mistake exhaustion for evidence of worthiness. She filled every hour with relentless action, wearing her exhaustion like a badge of honor. Her calendar burst with appointments, her to-do lists stretched endlessly, and her mind raced with constant planning. "If I work hard enough," she told herself, "success must come." But the universe operates on different mathematics. Your strain signals doubt to the cosmic forces. When you push with desperation, you broadcast a frequency of not enough, and that very vibration keeps your desires at bay. Notice how children manifest with ease. They simply know their wishes will come true. They don't exhaust themselves trying to make magic happen. The law remains steadfast. What you trust, you attract. What you doubt, you repel. Your certainty, not your struggle, determines your results. Effort born from fear contradicts the very essence of manifestation. When you truly trust, action flows from inspiration rather than desperation. Take Oren's revelation. For years he pursued success through sheer force of will, working longer hours than anyone else in his field. Yet prosperity remained elusive. One day, watching a bird effortlessly catch an updraft, something shifted in his understanding. He realized nature achieves its purposes without strain. That week, Oren began following only his moments of inspiration. He would wait until he felt genuine excitement before taking action. Rather than forcing himself to make 50 cold calls, he would pause until he felt naturally drawn to reach out to someone. Rather than pushing through exhaustion, he would rest when his energy dipped. A remarkable transformation unfolded. His business flourished with less effort. The right opportunities appeared precisely when needed. His income doubled while his working hours decreased. By aligning with inspiration, instead of forcing outcomes, he had discovered the secret frequency of effortless manifestation. The universe responds to your trust more than your toil. When you release the need to control through excessive action, you allow the natural flow of abundance to move through your life. Your role is not to make things happen through force, but to align with the ease that already exists in the cosmic order. Ancient practice. Replace force with flow today by acting only when excitement rises, proving ease outperforms exhaustion. Chapter 16. The Art of Vibrational Honesty. In the quiet moments between thoughts, truth whispers its presence. Consider Millie, who painted her words with artificial sunshine while shadows lurked beneath her smile. Each morning, she recited affirmations through gritted teeth, plastering positivity over pain like wallpaper over cracks. "I am blessed," she would declare, while her heart whispered otherwise. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, responds not to our words, but to our deepest frequencies. When you broadcast mixed signals, speaking light while feeling darkness, you create static in the cosmic telephone line. Your manifestations become as confused as your communications. This ancient teaching reveals a truth often overlooked in modern spiritual practice. Forced positivity creates energetic dissonance. The universe seeks not perfection, but authenticity. It responds more powerfully to honest shadow than false light. Think of the mother who knows her child's true mood despite their brave face. The universe, too, sees past our masks to the truth vibrating beneath. When Millie finally allowed herself to acknowledge her disappointment, her bitterness, her rage, something extraordinary occurred. The very act of admitting these feelings began dissolving their power. Boyd's journey illuminates this principle with crystalline clarity. After years of suppressing frustration about workplace inequities, he finally stopped pretending all was well. One morning, in his quiet meditation space, he spoke to the universe with raw honesty. "I am angry. I feel undervalued. This situation hurts." The moment he voiced these truths, a weight lifted from his shoulders. Instead of trying to manifest from a place of false peace, he allowed his authentic emotions to surface and be seen. Within days, situations began shifting. A senior colleague independently noticed the imbalance in his workload. A new position opened that better matched his talents. Solutions appeared organically, not because he had forced positivity, but because he had cleared the channel with emotional truth. Your relationship with the universe thrives on authenticity. Like any profound connection, it deepens through honesty rather than performance. When you admit your doubts, fears, and frustrations, you create space for genuine transformation. The universe does not require you to be perpetually positive. It asks only for your truth. The law operates with elegant simplicity. Clear signals create clear manifestations. When you align your words with your genuine feelings, you eliminate the static that blocks your desires. Your power lies not in pretending to be more evolved than you are, but in accepting where you stand in this moment. Ancient practice. Speak to the universe like your oldest friend, honest, tender, flawed, and notice how life responds with matching sincerity. Chapter 17. The Ripple of Forgiveness. Following Millie and Boyd's tales, an equally powerful truth emerged through Birdie's transformation. For years she carried resentment like stones in her pockets, weighing down every step toward abundance. Her days moved in slow motion, each moment tainted by memories of betrayal and hurt. The universe, ever faithful in its reflections, matched her heavy vibration with stagnant circumstances. The teaching here unveils a fundamental law. Holding on to past hurts creates energetic loops that bind your creative force. Like a river dammed by fallen trees, your manifestation power becomes blocked by unprocessed pain. When you grip old grievances, you tell the universe you prefer familiar suffering to unknown joy. Birdie's breakthrough came unexpectedly. One autumn morning, watching leaves release from branches, she realized nature never clings to what must fall away. In that moment, she chose to unclench her spiritual fists. As forgiveness flowed through her, 5 years of blocked opportunities suddenly broke free. Her career advanced, relationships healed, and most importantly, her smile returned, genuine this time. This principle found further expression through Leland's journey. After years of self-condemnation over business failures, he discovered that self-forgiveness carried more power than self-improvement. The moment he released his grip on past mistakes, fresh inspiration arrived like spring after winter. His creative energy, no longer trapped in cycles of regret, flowed freely into new ventures. His experience demonstrates that self-forgiveness acts as a reset button for manifestation. When you pardon yourself, you signal to the universe that you're ready for fresh beginnings. The past loses its power to define your future. The wisdom in these accounts reveals that forgiveness, both of others and yourself, operates as a spiritual law of physics. Just as nature abhors a vacuum, the universe rushes to fill spaces cleared by forgiveness with fresh possibilities. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and close your eyes. Picture each resentment, each regret as a balloon in your hands. Feel their weight, acknowledge their presence. Now, one by one, release them skyward. Watch them rise, growing smaller until they disappear into the vast blue above. Notice the lightness in your hands, your heart, your being. This space you've created becomes an invitation for new manifestations to enter. Repeat this practice whenever you feel the weight of old hurts returning, remembering that release always precedes renewal. Chapter 18. The Frequency of Service. In a small coastal village, a woman named Sylvia owned a bakery that struggled to stay afloat. Each morning, she meticulously calculated costs and profits, gripping tightly to every coin. Yet the more she focused on scarcity, the more her business dwindled. Until one stormy morning, when an elderly woman sought shelter in her shop, unable to afford even a simple loaf. Without thinking, Sylvia offered her freshly baked bread and hot tea. The woman's gratitude illuminated the dim shop, and something shifted in Sylvia's heart. From that day forward, Sylvia began leaving day-old bread outside for anyone in need. She shared baking tips freely with curious customers and offered her kitchen to young apprentices. Remarkably, as she released her grip on scarcity, abundance flowed in unexpected ways. New customers arrived through word of mouth, and opportunities for catering flourished. Her generosity had awakened a dormant law of prosperity. The universe operates through circulation. When you give from a place of joy rather than obligation, you declare to the cosmic forces that you trust in life's abundance. Every act of authentic generosity sends ripples through the fabric of creation, returning multiplied blessings through unexpected channels. Consider Otis, who discovered this truth through modern means. A skilled graphic designer, he began sharing tutorials online without expectation of return. His genuine desire to help others unleashed a torrent of opportunity. Collaborations emerged organically. Clients sought his unique vision, and his inbox filled with projects aligned with his passion. By giving freely of his talents, he became a magnet for abundance. This law reveals that generosity is not merely moral virtue, but a practical force for manifestation. When you share your gifts, skills, or resources with joy, you participate in the universe's natural flow. Each generous act declares, "I live in an abundant universe where there is always more than enough." The secret lies in the feeling behind the giving. Calculate too carefully, and you block the flow. Give with genuine joy, and you open channels for multiplication. Your generosity becomes proof of your trust in life's endless supply. Sacred practice. Find one way today to offer your unique gifts where they might uplift others. Share your knowledge, talents, or resources without expecting immediate return. Feel the warmth of giving expand in your heart, knowing this very sensation is programming the universe for multiplied abundance. Let your generosity become your signature of faith in life's infinite supply. Chapter 19. The Present Moment Agreement. A baker in a seaside town understood a truth you may have yet to glimpse: the law of generous flow. Each morning she would open her shop, count her coins, and worry about having enough. Yet the more she clutched at scarcity, the more it seemed to define her reality. Until one rain-swept dawn changed everything. When an elderly woman sought shelter, unable to afford even a simple loaf, something deeper than logic moved through the baker's hands as she offered fresh bread and warm tea. The genuine gratitude that lit up the woman's face awakened something dormant, the ancient knowing that giving creates space for receiving. This truth has echoed through the ages. The universe operates through circulation. When you release your gifts into the world without expectation of return, you align with the natural flow of abundance. Your generous spirit becomes a declaration of faith in unlimited supply. Later, in a distant city, a craftsman named Otis discovered this same principle. Rather than hoarding his knowledge, he began sharing his woodworking techniques freely through online videos. He had no strategy beyond the joy of teaching. Yet soon his inbox filled with collaboration offers and commissioned projects. His freely given expertise returned multiplied. The universe responds not to your actions alone, but to the energy behind them. When you give from genuine desire to contribute rather than obligation or strategy, you broadcast trust in abundance. This vibration attracts matching circumstances. Service becomes your signature in the cosmic ledger. Here lies a profound key. Generosity is not measured in quantity, but in the joy of giving. A smile offered freely carries more creative power than grand gestures made with hidden agenda. When you share your gifts, whether skills, time, or simple kindness, without calculating return, you participate in life's natural expansion. Tonight, find one small way to contribute value without seeking reward. Perhaps teach someone a skill you've mastered, offer encouragement where needed, or simply listen with full presence. Notice how this giving lightens your spirit and creates space for fresh possibilities. In this way, service becomes not duty but delight, a frequency that magnetizes grace. The universe mirrors your willingness to circulate value. As you release what flows through you with joy, watch how life responds with multiplied returns. Not because you demanded, but because you danced with the natural law of generous flow. Actionable practice. Offer your skills joyfully where they uplift others and feel the echo delivering multiplied returns. Let service become your signature in the cosmic dance of giving and receiving. Chapter 20. The Vibration of Words, Unspoken. In a world where many seek manifestation through endless declarations, a humble truth awaits your discovery. Among the ancient scrolls of wisdom lies a knowing that true power often whispers rather than shouts. A woman named Lulu spent years reciting affirmations with determined vigor, filling notebooks with repeated phrases and speaking her desires into the dawn. Yet manifestation remained elusive, like trying to catch shadows with outstretched hands. Until one morning, exhausted from effort, she simply sat in silence. In that pristine quiet, she felt what her words had been trying to achieve, perfect alignment with the universe's own rhythm. The teaching reveals itself with elegant simplicity. The space between words carries more creative force than the words themselves. Just as music finds its soul in the pauses between notes, manifestation flows most powerfully through the silence between thoughts. Your quiet certainty speaks volumes to the universal mind. The universe responds not to the volume of your request, but to the depth of your resonance. When you cease striving to be heard and instead allow yourself to merge with the silent current of creation, your desires translate instantly into the language of manifestation. This is not passive waiting, but active allowing, a state of being that transcends the need for constant declaration. Later, Edgar uncovered this same principle through an unexpected channel. Struggling with unresolved relationships, he began writing heartfelt letters of gratitude to those who had shaped his journey, letters he never intended to send. These unsent messages, filled with genuine appreciation, created ripples in the fabric of reality. Within weeks, miraculous reconciliations occurred naturally, without his direct intervention. The universe had heard his silent appreciation and orchestrated harmony beyond his conscious planning. His experience illuminates a profound truth. Sometimes the most powerful prayers are those never spoken aloud. The universe. Part 3. Commanding Creation Consciously. Chapter 21. Becoming the Observer. In the depths of an ancient valley, where wisdom echoes through time, you will discover a truth that transforms turmoil into tranquility. The art of detachment holds keys to mastery over life's ever-shifting scenes. Minnie lived each day entangled in circumstances, wearing problems like a second skin. When bills mounted, she became the struggle. When relationships tensed, she dissolved into the drama. Each challenge consumed her identity until she could no longer distinguish between herself and the situation at hand. Life responded by amplifying this fusion, turning minor setbacks into overwhelming waves of chaos. Here lies a fundamental law of manifestation. What you merge with, you magnify. When you become one with a problem, you lose the power to transform it. The universe simply reflects back this merged energy, creating more of what holds your attention so completely. The teaching reveals itself with crystalline clarity. Detachment is not escape, but elevation. When you step back from complete identification with circumstances, you gain the perspective needed to transmute them. Like a painter who must step back from the canvas to see the full composition. Your power to create positive change awakens in the space between you and your experience. Norris discovered this truth during a particularly challenging period in his business. Rather than drowning in anxiety about potential failure, he began viewing his situation as though watching a film. In this subtle shift of perspective, he found himself sitting in the director's chair, rather than being trapped in the scene. From this vantage point, solutions appeared with striking clarity. When vendors delayed payments, instead of becoming the stress, he watched it as a plot point requiring creative resolution. When team conflicts arose, He viewed them as character development opportunities rather than personal affronts. His detached observation created space for intuitive guidance to flow. Solutions emerged naturally, like scene edits suggesting themselves to an attentive director. By refusing to become entangled in the drama, he maintained the clarity needed to guide events toward positive resolution. Life responded to this elevated perspective by offering smoother transitions and unexpected plot twists that resolved conflicts with elegant efficiency. The power of detached observation lies not in cold distance, but in conscious awareness. When you view life's challenges from the director's chair, you reclaim your authority to guide rather than react. This subtle shift transforms you from a character buffeted by circumstances into the conscious creator of your experience. Ancient practice. When challenges arise, pause and imagine yourself settling into the director's chair of your life's movie. Observe the scene unfolding before you with calm curiosity rather than emotional entanglement. Notice how solutions appear more clearly from this elevated perspective. Let your inner wisdom guide gentle adjustments to the scene, knowing you command the power to reshape reality through conscious observation. Chapter 22. The Power of Predefinition. Standing apart from your circumstances reveals your true creative power. When challenges arise, step back and observe them as scenes in a cosmic theater rather than becoming entangled in their temporary illusion. This subtle shift transforms you from a reactive participant to a conscious director of your reality. Consider how Vera discovered this transformative truth. Each morning she would pause before starting her day and speak words that shaped the hours ahead. Today flows smoothly. She didn't force this declaration or shout it like a command. Instead, she stated it with the casual certainty of someone noting that the sun rises in the east. As she maintained this practice, she watched in amazement as her days began arranging themselves to match her morning definition. Traffic lights turned green as she approached. Meetings that typically ran long finished early. Even unexpected situations resolved themselves with unusual grace. The universe responded not to her words alone, but to the calm authority with which she defined her experience. The power of definition extends beyond general declarations. Glenn applied this principle with remarkable precision. Before each important meeting, he would take a moment to mentally sketch its outcome. He didn't strain or struggle with this visualization. Instead, he simply held a clear picture of productive discussions and mutually beneficial agreements. Time after time, Glenn watched as actual meetings unfolded according to his prior definition. Difficult negotiations transformed into collaborative conversations. Points of contention dissolved before they could create conflict. The physical world seemed eager to mirror the clarity of his mental blueprint. These experiences unveil a fundamental truth. The universe waits for your definition before manifesting circumstances. Like a master artist requiring a sketch before creating a masterpiece, the cosmic forces align with your clearly defined vision. When you neglect to define your experience, circumstances default to reflecting your unconscious expectations and fears. Yet this practice requires no force. Imagine writing in water. A gentle touch creates ripples that extend far beyond the point of contact. Similarly, your calm definitions set in motion forces that naturally arrange circumstances to match your vision. Ancient wisdom practice. As each day begins, take a moment to define its essential qualities. Speak your definition not as a wish or a hope, but as a simple statement of fact. Today brings unexpected blessings. This afternoon unfolds with perfect timing. Tonight brings deep peace. Then release your definitions into the universe's care, knowing they will return as physical experience. Watch how reality aligns itself with your gentle but clear expectations, proving that definition indeed precedes demonstration. Chapter 23. Aligning with the highest possible timeline. In the depths of night, a weaver sits at her loom, threading possibilities through the fabric of existence. Each thread represents a potential future, and the pattern emerges based on which threads catch the light of attention. This ancient wisdom unveils itself through Esther's transformative discovery. For years, Esther wove dark patterns into her life's tapestry. Before every undertaking, her mind would spin elaborate scenarios of failure, loss, and disappointment. Each morning began with an inventory of potential disasters, missed opportunities, broken connections, unforeseen setbacks. The universe, ever faithful to its role as cosmic mirror, dutifully reflected these shadowy expectations back to her. Then one autumn morning, as she rehearsed her usual litany of concerns, a spark of curiosity flickered in her consciousness. What if, she wondered, she reversed this familiar pattern? Instead of imagining the worst, what if she dared to envision the best? This simple question opened a door to transformation. She began small, reimagining everyday scenarios through a lens of light. Rather than anticipating traffic jams, she visualized smooth, flowing roads. Instead of dreading difficult conversations, she pictured harmonious exchanges. With each positive vision, she felt a subtle shift in the atmosphere around her, as though reality itself responded to her brightened perspective. As days unfolded, Esther noticed something remarkable. Events began aligning with her optimistic projections. Meetings she once feared turned into opportunities for connection. Projects she had worried about flowed with unexpected ease. The universe seemed eager to match her elevated expectations. The wisdom became clear. Imagination acts as a blueprint for manifestation. The scenarios you envision with emotional clarity become the templates from which reality takes its shape. This truth found further validation through Nolan's experience. Nolan worked in a field where innovation seemed impossible. Yet, rather than accepting apparent limitations, he began dreaming beyond conventional boundaries. He imagined breakthroughs with the same detail others gave to their doubts. He visualized solutions with the clarity most reserved for problems. Soon, opportunities materialized that perfectly matched his courageous visions. Doors opened that others hadn't even seen. Resources appeared precisely when needed. His bold imaginings had tuned reality's frequency to a higher possibility. These accounts reveal a fundamental principle. The universe responds not to the volume of your desires, but to the clarity of your vision. When you dare to imagine the most luminous version of any situation, you provide the clearest template for manifestation. Ancient wisdom practice. Before making any decision, pause and allow yourself to envision its most radiant outcome. See beyond apparent limitations to the highest possibility. Feel the joy of that luminous version as though it already exists. The universe always selects the clearest signal from your broadcast. Make sure you're transmitting the future you truly desire. Chapter 24. The emotion called knowing. In the stillness before dawn, a gardener plants seeds without doubt, knowing the invisible process that turns them to flowers. Such is the nature of true manifestation, as Irene discovered through her journey from anxious, hoping to peaceful knowing. For years, Irene chased manifestation with the fervor of someone running after a departing train. She created vision boards with frantic energy, recited affirmations with desperate intensity, and visualized her desires with such forceful concentration that it left her exhausted. Yet the more she pushed, the more her desires seemed to recede into the distance. The turning point came unexpectedly. One morning, while sipping tea in her garden, she noticed how the flowers bloomed without strain. They didn't force their petals open or struggle against the process. In that moment, she understood that real power flows through serenity, not struggle. She began approaching her desires differently. Instead of charging after them with nervous excitement, she settled into a quiet certainty. When visualizing her goals, she no longer felt the need to convince herself or the universe. She simply knew, as naturally as she knew the sun would rise. The shift was subtle, yet profound. Her manifestations began arriving with an ease that surprised her old self, but felt perfectly natural to her new understanding. The universe responded to her calm certainty more readily than it ever had to her anxious pleading. This same principle revealed itself through Travis's experience. As a businessman, he had long equated success with intense striving, but his greatest achievements came when he learned to operate from a place of inner certainty. Travis noticed something peculiar about his most significant victories. They felt oddly familiar when they arrived. The major contract, the perfect partnership, the ideal opportunity. Each felt like meeting an old friend rather than encountering something new. He realized these successes felt unsurprising because he had already experienced them in his consciousness. He hadn't just imagined these outcomes. He had lived them internally first. His outer world simply caught up with what he had already accepted as real within himself. This wasn't about positive thinking or hopeful wishing. It was about authentic knowing. The law operates through this quiet certainty. When you truly know something in your heart, you don't need to convince yourself or others. You don't need to repeat affirmations or seek constant reassurance. You simply rest in the awareness that what you desire already exists in the unseen realm, making its way into visible form. Creation flows most powerfully through those who have mastered this art of peaceful certainty. They understand that manifestation isn't about forcing reality to bend to their will, but about aligning with what is already orchestrated in the infinite field of possibilities. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment each day to sit in gratitude for what hasn't yet appeared in physical form. Thank the universe as though your desires have already manifested. Don't speak from hope or wishful thinking. Speak from that deep place of knowing that needs no proof. This is the posture of true command. Chapter 25. The Dance Between Focus and Flow. In a bustling marketplace, a young merchant named Elsie rushed between her stalls, trying to manifest abundance in every direction at once. Her energy scattered like seeds thrown to the wind, her intentions diluted by division. Each morning she wrote lengthy lists of desires: a new house, thriving business, ideal partner, perfect health, attempting to manifest them all simultaneously through sheer force of will. The universe speaks in clear frequencies, yet Elsie's broadcast resembled static, her signal too fragmented to translate into physical form. When everything holds equal priority, nothing receives the full power of focused attention. Like trying to fill multiple vessels with a single stream of water, her manifesting energy dispersed rather than concentrated. This truth echoes through the ages. Focus sets intention while flow receives the outcome. Just as sunlight passing through a magnifying glass gains intensity through concentration, your manifesting power strengthens when channeled through singular focus. Yet this focus must dance with surrender, like the rhythm of breathing, concentrated intention followed by relaxed allowing. Lionel, a musician, discovered this balance naturally through his art. When composing, he would alternate between periods of intense focus and complete relaxation. During focused sessions, he directed all his energy toward the music. Then he would step away, go for walks, or simply sit in his garden, allowing inspiration to find him. Soon, he noticed this rhythm extending beyond his music. The more he balanced attention with ease, the more life seemed to orchestrate itself around him. Opportunities appeared without effort. Perfect timing became routine, and solutions emerged spontaneously. His experience demonstrates the partnership between directed energy and receptive flow. Focus plants the seed of intention deep in the soil of possibility, while relaxation allows it to grow naturally, without the interference of anxiety or control. Ancient wisdom reminds us, creation mirrors the tide's eternal dance of surge and retreat. Your role in manifestation requires similar rhythm, moments of crystal-clear focus followed by periods of playful release. This balance transforms manifesting from exhausting effort into graceful collaboration with the universe. Practice. Sacred rhythm of creation. Throughout your day, practice this natural rhythm. For 20 minutes, direct your full attention toward one chosen intention. Feel it with crystalline clarity. Then release completely into 10 minutes of pure enjoyment. Walk, breathe, or simply be. This alternation between focus and flow establishes your partnership with universal forces, allowing manifestation to unfold with elegant ease. Chapter 26. Shifting Through Identity. In the quietude of dawn, a seamstress named Della sat at her work table, fingers tracing the patterns she would soon bring to life. Though skilled beyond measure, her inner dialogue remained stuck in an old recording. I can barely make ends meet. Each time opportunity knocked, her practiced identity of scarcity answered the door. The universe operates through an unwavering principle. Your self-concept acts as the master frequency broadcasting your reality. Like a radio tower ceaselessly transmitting its signal, your innermost definition of self shapes the world's response. When you introduce yourself to the cosmic forces as lacking, they faithfully echo that frequency back to you through circumstances and events. Your identity is not merely a label. It is a living vibration that the universe must honor. Each time you mentally rehearse who you believe yourself to be, you sign an energetic contract with existence. The law of attraction cannot override your deepest sense of self, for it is bound by cosmic law to match your dominant frequency. Consider the tale of Grover, a bookkeeper who transformed his reality through conscious identity revision. Rather than focusing on external changes, He began introducing himself to his own consciousness as someone who naturally attracts opportunity. He didn't force this new identity. He allowed it to settle into his being like a comfortable garment. As Grover's inner dialogue shifted, the external world realigned to match his new frequency. Colleagues began seeking his counsel on important projects. Unexpected opportunities emerged in casual conversations. His presence in meetings carried new weight, though he hadn't changed his words or actions, only his inner knowing of who he was. The mechanics of manifestation respond not to what you want, but to who you believe you are. When your identity aligns with your desires, you need not chase manifestations. They arise naturally as expressions of your being. Like a rose need not strain to release its fragrance. Abundance flows effortlessly from one who knows themselves as abundant. Daily practice. Settle into a quiet moment each morning. Close your eyes and introduce yourself to the universe as though meeting for the first time. Speak inwardly. I am one who, completing the phrase with the qualities you wish to embody. Let this declaration sink into your cells until it feels as natural as your own name. Maintain this practice until the outer world begins reflecting your inner knowing. Chapter 27. The Art of Emotional Investment. In the depths of morning silence, you encounter a truth so simple yet transformative. Your identity shapes your reality more powerfully than any action. The self you claim becomes the signal you transmit to the universe, which then orchestrates circumstances to match your inner broadcast. A weaver named Addie spent countless hours fretting over her finances, mentally rehearsing phrases like, "I never have enough," and "money always slips away." With each worried thought, she wove a tapestry of lack into her being. The universe, ever faithful to our deepest beliefs, responded by creating situations that validated her self-image. Her story reveals how identity becomes destiny, not through cosmic punishment, but through perfect resonance with our innermost frequency. When you define yourself through limitation, you instruct the universe to maintain those boundaries. Your self-concept acts as a thermostat, regulating the temperature of abundance in your life. No amount of positive thinking can override this fundamental broadcast if your core identity remains anchored in scarcity. Yet this same law works in reverse, as demonstrated by Myrtle, who ran a small bookshop in uncertain times. Rather than identifying as someone struggling to survive, she saw herself as a curator of wisdom, a magnet for literary treasures. She would walk through her shop whispering, "I am abundance sharing itself." Soon, rare volumes began finding their way to her shelves. Customers appeared with perfect timing, and opportunities for expansion arose naturally. The difference lay not in external circumstances, but in the energy of identity. Where Addie invested her emotional currency in worry, Myrtle placed hers in the certainty of her abundant nature. The universe simply matched each woman's energetic signature with corresponding experiences. This ancient wisdom speaks through every success story. It is not what you do, but who you know yourself to be that determines what manifests. Your identity is your most powerful point of attraction. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment each morning. Place your hand upon your heart and declare, "I am the very essence of prosperity sharing itself through my unique gifts." Feel this truth in your cells before taking any action. Let your identity lead your manifestation, and watch as the universe rearranges itself to mirror your inner knowing. Chapter 28. When Manifestations Outgrow You. Among the hidden scrolls of manifestation lies a truth often overlooked. As you expand, your dreams must expand with you. In a sunlit valley there lived a potter named Prue who crafted her desires with careful precision. Each morning, she would shape her visions like clay on a wheel. A modest home, a steady income, loyal customers for her ceramics. The universe, true to its nature, delivered exactly what she requested. Yet as these dreams materialized, Prue felt an unexpected hollowness. The home she once yearned for now seemed to confine her creative spirit. The steady income that once represented security now felt like a ceiling rather than a foundation. Her manifestations had become like vessels too small to contain her growing essence. The teaching reveals itself. Your relationship with the universe is not static, but eternally dynamic. As you evolve, your frequency naturally rises, requiring new channels for expression. What once felt abundant may later feel restrictive, not because the manifestation failed, but because you have outgrown it. This wisdom found further expression through Sydney, a merchant who had manifested his dream of owning a small shop. For years he clung to this achievement, feeling that wanting more would show ingratitude. But as his understanding deepened, he recognized that desiring expansion wasn't betrayal, it was evolution. When he finally released his grip on what had been, allowing his vision to transform, the universe responded with opportunities that dwarfed his original dreams. His story illuminates the fluid nature of manifestation. Each realized dream serves as a stepping stone, not a final destination. The universe delights in your growth, eagerly awaiting your signal to deliver greater expressions of abundance. The key lies in graceful release. When you bless what has manifested while opening to larger possibilities, you create space for fresh abundance. This is not dismissal of past dreams, but graduation from them. Like a tree growing new rings, each layer of manifestation builds upon the last, creating ever-expanding circles of experience. Ancient practice. Stand in quiet reverence and speak to your manifested dreams. I honor you, I thank you, I release you to make way for greater visions. Feel the spaciousness this creates within. The universe will fill this space with manifestations matching your expanded awareness, for it always honors your highest frequency. Chapter 29. The Collective Field of Belief. In the ancient archives of manifestation wisdom, a golden truth sparkles. When hearts unite in vision, reality bends more swiftly to their collective light. Gloria, who managed a small creative agency, stumbled upon this power by accident. Each morning, she would enter her office radiating genuine optimism, not as performance but as natural state. Within weeks, she witnessed a remarkable transformation. Projects that once felt burdensome began flowing with unexpected ease. Clients who had been difficult suddenly became collaborative. More striking still was how her team's energy shifted. Creativity flourished, solutions emerged spontaneously, and synchronicities multiplied. The office atmosphere transformed from merely productive to magnetic, attracting opportunities that seemed to materialize from thin air. This reveals a fundamental truth about the universe's response system. Individual vibration creates reality, but shared vibration accelerates it exponentially. When multiple hearts tune to the same frequency of possibility, the universe responds not just to the sum of their energy, but to its multiplication. The power of collective consciousness found further expression through Harlan's experience in a small coastal town. What began as a simple morning meditation circle in his garden gradually drew neighbors, then friends of neighbors. Soon, 20 people gathered thrice weekly in shared silence. As their number grew, something extraordinary unfolded in their community. Local conflicts that had simmered for years found peaceful resolution. Community projects that had stalled suddenly received unexpected funding. Even the weather seemed to cooperate more frequently with outdoor events. The town's atmosphere shifted tangibly. People smiled more, helped more readily, dreamed more boldly. What Gloria and Harlan discovered transcends ordinary manifestation principles. When hearts align in shared vision, reality reshapes itself more dramatically than any single consciousness could achieve alone. Like musicians creating harmony, each individual vibration contributes to a symphony powerful enough to move mountains. The universe responds to this unified field with heightened enthusiasm, as though receiving a stronger signal. Where individual intention might create a ripple, collective intention generates a wave. This multiplication effect transforms not just immediate circumstances, but ripples outward, touching lives beyond the original circle. Ancient practice. Gather with 3 or more like-minded souls, whether physically present or connected through technology. Spend 15 minutes holding a shared vision of joy, abundance, or peace. Feel how your individual light merges into a greater radiance. Notice how this collective field begins shifting events in all your lives, proving that united hearts command reality with extraordinary power. Chapter 30. The Universe. In your reflection. In the halls of a mountain monastery, a truth lay waiting like a pearl at the bottom of a still pond. Lydia spent years seeking wisdom from teachers across distant lands, collecting their words like precious stones, until one morning she gazed into her morning tea and saw her own reflection rippling back. In that moment, the ancient teaching crystallized within her heart. Every master she had encountered was simply reflecting back her own inner knowing. The universe speaks through every voice that moves you, for there is no true separation between teacher and student, between seeker and sought. What appears as external guidance is merely the echo of your own divine wisdom finding its way home to you. You are not apart from the force you seek to command. The very power you wish to harness already flows through you, as naturally as breath. When you speak to the universe, you are speaking to yourself. When you ask for signs, you are reading your own writing in the sky. Pearl discovered this truth one ordinary morning while preparing for work. Standing before her bathroom mirror, she spoke the words that changed everything. I see the universe looking back. It wasn't a practice or an affirmation. It was recognition. In that instant, the illusion of separation dissolved. Peace flooded her being as she realized she had never been apart from what she sought to attract. This is the final secret of manifestation. There is no force to master, no law to obey. You are not commanding something separate from yourself. The law of attraction ends where unity consciousness begins. Just as a wave cannot be separate from the ocean, you cannot be separate from the creative force of the universe. You are that force in expression. Practice. The mirror recognition. Each morning, approach your mirror with new eyes. See past the familiar features to the infinite awareness gazing back at you. Speak these words with quiet knowing. I see the universe looking back. Let this recognition settle into your cells. You are not attempting to attract or manifest. You are remembering your true identity as the attractor and manifester itself. In this awareness, all effort dissolves into being. The mirror becomes your daily reminder that you are not seeking connection with universal forces. You are those forces personified. The face you see reflecting back is creation itself, wearing your features as its latest disguise. When you truly know this, manifestation becomes as natural as a flower turning toward the sun. Part 4. The Mastery of Effortless Creation. Chapter 31. The Peace That Commands Reality. In a small cottage overlooking the valley, Agnes spent years chasing success with relentless determination. Each morning she would rise before dawn, filling her days with endless tasks and urgent pursuits. Her calendar overflowed with commitments. Her mind raced with strategies, and her spirit grew weary under the weight of constant doing. The universe watched patiently as she exhausted herself, trying to force life into submission. Then came the winter, when illness confined her to bed. At first, Agnes fought against this enforced stillness, seeing it as an obstacle to her goals. But as days passed, something extraordinary began to unfold. In the quiet hours between sleep and waking, solutions to long-standing problems appeared effortlessly in her mind. Opportunities she had struggled to create manifested spontaneously through phone calls and unexpected messages. The very achievements she had strained to reach started flowing toward her with natural ease. Through this experience, Agnes discovered a truth that transformed her relationship with manifestation. Peace is not the absence of action, but the presence of certainty. When she stopped struggling against the current of life, she found herself carried precisely where she needed to go. Her surrender became her strength. The law works through serenity, not force. Like a clear pool that perfectly reflects the sky, a calm mind provides the clearest channel for universal intelligence to flow through. Tension distorts the signal. Tranquility amplifies it. This is not passive waiting, but active alignment at its most refined. Wendell's story illuminates this principle with beautiful simplicity. As a business negotiator, he had always prided himself on quick responses and decisive action. But one day, he accidentally discovered the power of the pause. Before entering a particularly challenging meeting, he took 3 deep breaths simply because his throat felt tight. To his amazement, the entire dynamic of the negotiation shifted. Solutions emerged organically, resistance melted away, and agreements formed with unexpected ease. From that day forward, Wendell made conscious breathing his secret weapon. Each time he encountered conflict or confusion, he would pause and breathe deeply before responding. Without fail, this small act of centered awareness would transform the energy of any situation. His influence grew not through forceful assertion, but through grounded presence. The universe speaks most clearly through silence. It moves most powerfully through peace. Your calmness is not weakness. It is command in its purest form. When you rest in certainty, you broadcast at a frequency that reality cannot help but match. Practice. The stillness solution. When confusion rises or challenges appear, resist the urge to immediately act. Instead, treat stillness as your most productive move. Find a quiet space and follow this sequence. Inhale deeply, drawing in pure clarity. As you exhale, release all need for control. Continue this rhythm until you feel your energy settle into calm certainty. From this centered state, watch as reality naturally reorganizes to match your peaceful vibration. Solutions will appear with elegant simplicity, and paths will clear without struggle. Chapter 32. The Imprint of Imagination. When you still your mind, allowing peace to settle like fresh snow, reality responds with perfect obedience. In the depths of tranquility lies a power greater than all your striving, the creative force of pure being. Through stillness, you access the divine current that shapes worlds. Consider Daisy, who lived imprisoned by an endless loop of anxious thoughts. Each morning she would wake to mental reruns of worst-case scenarios, her imagination working overtime to construct elaborate disasters. Yet one day she discovered a profound truth. The same mental energy she used to paint pictures of doom could be redirected to envision joy. The universe draws no distinction between thoughts born of fear and those born of faith. It simply responds to the blueprints you provide. Your imagination is the architect's table where reality's blueprints are drawn. Nothing can manifest in your outer world until it has been carefully sketched in your inner one. When Daisy began using her imagination with purpose rather than allowing it to run wild with worry, her external reality shifted to match her new internal landscape. She discovered that peace is not about suppressing thoughts, but about choosing which ones to nurture and expand. This truth found further validation through Bert's experience with a longtime friend from whom he had grown distant. Rather than dwelling on past hurts or rehearsing imagined confrontations, he chose to spend his evening hours picturing warm reconciliation. Each night before sleep, he would envision easy laughter between them, feeling the natural flow of restored friendship. Within days, synchronicity orchestrated what his peaceful imagination had designed. A chance meeting led to genuine conversation, old wounds dissolved in understanding, and the friendship renewed itself exactly as he had pictured. His experience demonstrates that imagination infused with peace becomes a magnetic force, drawing circumstances into alignment with its vision. The ancient ones knew this secret. Your imagination is not mere fantasy, but a divine tool of creation. When wielded with peaceful certainty rather than anxious force, it becomes the very chisel with which you carve your reality. The universe awaits your clearest vision, ready to fill any template you provide with solid form. Practice. Before sleep, gently picture yourself living the wish fulfilled as if recalling a memory, and feel the satisfaction settle in your bones. This is the creative command in its purest tone. Chapter 33. The Echo Called. Contrast. Your imagination molds reality with the precision of a master sculptor, yet often this divine tool remains misunderstood. The universe responds not to what you see, but to what you envision with emotional clarity. This truth unveils itself through the experiences of those who have learned to harness the creative power of contrast. Polly walked through life viewing each obstacle as a personal affront from the universe. Her days felt heavy with grievances, traffic jams, delayed payments, misunderstandings with colleagues. Yet, in an unexpected moment of insight, she grasped a fundamental truth. These very frustrations were acting as cosmic signposts, illuminating the path to what she truly desired. Without knowing the taste of bitter, how can you fully appreciate sweet? Without experiencing delay, how can you refine your vision of perfect timing? The universe operates through this law of contrasts, using what you don't want to help you crystallize what you do want with laser precision. As Polly began embracing this perspective, each unwanted circumstance transformed from an enemy into a wise teacher. Traffic jams became opportunities to define her preference for flow. Delayed payments clarified her desire for abundance. Every contrast sharpened her ability to broadcast clearer signals to the universe. This principle found powerful expression through Grover's journey. Where others saw problems, he discovered precious data points. Each setback became a brushstroke in the masterpiece of his desires. When projects stalled, instead of frustration, he asked himself, "What does this contrast reveal about my preferred timing?" When conversations felt strained, he wondered, "What qualities of communication am I now ready to attract?" Like an artist who understands that shadows define light, Grover learned to appreciate the full spectrum of experience. His newfound peace with contrast accelerated his manifesting ability. Rather than resisting unwanted conditions, he welcomed them as refinements to his creative vision. The universe speaks to you through the language of contrast. Each unwanted experience carries within it the seed of greater clarity. When you bless these moments instead of cursing them, you transform resistance into receptivity. Every contrast becomes a compass pointing toward your expanded good. Practice. When encountering unwanted conditions, bless them as signposts guiding your focus to what you now prefer, converting frustration into precision. Chapter 34. The Geometry of Faith. In the vast design of creation, your beliefs sketch the blueprints that reality must follow. This truth reveals itself through patterns so precise they cannot be dismissed as coincidence. Elsa discovered this principle through years of watching her life mirror her innermost convictions. When fear gripped her thoughts, opportunities would vanish like morning mist. Yet in moments when hope filled her heart, possibilities blossomed from seemingly barren ground. Each cycle showed her that belief was not merely a passive state of mind, but an active force drawing solid lines in the fabric of existence. The universe operates with architectural precision. Every thought becomes a beam, every conviction a foundation. Your faith does not simply influence reality. It provides the very framework within which matter must arrange itself. Like a master builder, the universe can only construct what your beliefs have designed. This principle became crystal clear through Raymond's awakening. Where others saw random events scattered across their lives, he began to see constellations of meaning. He approached his goals not as distant wishes, but as stars already positioned in his personal sky. By viewing his desires as existing patterns waiting to be recognized rather than hoped-for possibilities, he activated a deeper law of creation. As Raymond traced these invisible lines between present circumstances and desired outcomes, physical reality began conforming to his mental astronomy. Business connections appeared in unlikely places. Resources emerged from unexpected sources. The very opportunities he had visualized started manifesting, proving that belief creates the template that circumstance must follow. His experience demonstrates a profound truth. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you accept as inevitably yours. When you shift from hoping to knowing, from wishing to recognizing, the physical world has no choice but to align with your inner architecture. The power lies not in forcing outcomes, but in holding steady the blueprint of certainty in your mind. Like a master architect who sees the finished building in the empty lot, you must learn to perceive your desires as existing constructions waiting to materialize. Practice trace mental blueprints filled with conviction rather than hope, allowing physical dimensions to assemble themselves from your quiet certitude. Chapter 35. Turning Waiting into Creation. Ethel spent months staring at her vision board, wondering why her dreams remained suspended in what felt like an endless waiting room of reality. Each morning she checked for signs of manifestation, and each evening she battled growing doubt as the universe seemed silent. The clock ticked, yet nothing appeared to change. Or so she thought. What Ethel had yet to understand was that manifestation occurs first in the invisible realms, before emerging into physical form. Like a seed beneath soil, your desires germinate in darkness before breaking through to light. The pause between planting and sprouting holds creative power that few recognize. The space between asking and receiving serves as sacred ground where the universe arranges countless details beyond your view. This waiting period is not empty. It teems with potential, orchestrating perfect timing and optimal circumstances for your desire's arrival. Your only task during this phase is to maintain the frequency of having already received. Nelson discovered this truth through an unexpected turn of events. After months of apparent stagnation in his business ventures, he decided to approach the waiting period differently. Instead of anxiously monitoring progress, he began celebrating the smallest hints of movement, a promising email, an encouraging conversation, even a relevant article crossing his path. He treated these tiny occurrences as confirmation that larger waves of manifestation were building momentum. What had once felt like frustrating delay transformed into an adventure of spotting evidence. Nelson turned waiting into a treasure hunt, collecting proof that the universe was indeed responding. His shift from impatience to playful participation changed everything. Within weeks, opportunities began cascading into his experience as though they had been there all along, simply waiting for his recognition. Your manifestations often mature like fine wine, in perfect timing that cannot be rushed. The key lies not in pushing against the pause, but in dancing with it. When you trust the process enough to find joy in the waiting, you activate a powerful magnetic force. Your delight in the meantime signals to the universe that you're ready for the full expression of your desire. The practice. Transform waiting into creative participation by treating each moment as evidence of your desire's inevitable arrival. Notice small synchronicities as confirmation that larger manifestations are approaching. Fill the gap with appreciation for what's unfolding behind the scenes. Let your anticipation feel like celebration rather than yearning, knowing the universe is orchestrating perfect timing for your dream's dramatic reveal. Chapter 36. The Gravity of Self-Love. In a quiet garden, Maisie knelt before her flowers each morning, whispering affirmations of love and abundance. Yet beneath these spoken wishes ran an undercurrent of harsh self-judgment, a silent stream of criticism that tainted every hope. Though her words reached skyward, her feelings anchored to doubt. The universe, ever faithful to emotional truth, could only echo the dominant frequency she transmitted. You see, the law of attraction operates with unwavering precision, not by catching your words, but by matching your deepest feelings about yourself. When you speak of deserving love while harboring self-criticism, you create static in your manifestation signal. The universe cannot deliver experiences that contradict your core beliefs about your own worth. This invisible barrier remains until you recognize that self-regard acts as the master control for all attraction. Your relationship with yourself sets the baseline frequency for every connection, opportunity, and circumstance that flows into your life. The outer world must align with your inner dialogue, for this is the law's most basic function. Orville discovered this truth through an unlikely channel, his morning mirror routine, where once he greeted his reflection with subtle criticism, he began responding to perceived flaws with gentle humor instead of judgment. Rather than focusing on imperfections, he practiced finding something to appreciate each day. This shift, though seemingly small, altered his entire magnetic field. Within weeks, his environment began reflecting this warmer inner climate. Strangers initiated friendly conversations, colleagues sought his input more often, and social invitations multiplied effortlessly. He hadn't changed his external circumstances. He had simply improved the quality of his self-directed thoughts and feelings. The universe, detecting this new frequency of self-acceptance, naturally drew in experiences to match. The mirror of life reflects not your wishes, but your wavelength. When you transmit genuine self-appreciation, you calibrate your field to attract parallel energies. This is not about forcing artificial positivity, but about cultivating authentic kindness toward yourself. The law responds not to what you want, but to what you are being. Practice. Stand before your mirror each morning. Instead of scanning for flaws or reciting empty praise, simply observe yourself with the gentle curiosity of a friend. Notice one quality you genuinely appreciate, perhaps the warmth in your eyes or the unique curve of your smile. Feel that appreciation expand within you, creating a field of self-regard that extends beyond your physical form. As you move through your day, carry this feeling of friendly acknowledgement with you. The universe will respond by drawing experiences and relationships that mirror this improved relationship with yourself. Let each interaction become a reflection of your renewed inner dialogue. As you appreciate your own presence more fully, watch how life begins orchestrating encounters that match your elevated self-regard. This is not manifestation through force, but through frequency alignment. The mirror never lies. It simply shows you what you are consistently feeling about yourself. Chapter 37. The Currency of Appreciation. In a small mountain town, Winnie clutched her purse with white knuckles, scrutinizing every purchase as though each dollar spent might be her last. She believed this vigilance would protect her wealth, yet her tight grip on money only constricted its flow. The more carefully she guarded her resources, the more elusive abundance became. The universe operates through an eternal principle of circulation. When you approach spending with fear, you broadcast a frequency of lack that the universe must mirror back to you. Your relationship with money reveals your deepest beliefs about abundance itself. What Winnie discovered transforms how you will forever view the exchange of currency. Money, in its purest essence, serves as physical evidence of energy in motion. When you resist its natural flow through fear-based hoarding, you inadvertently create energetic blockages that prevent new abundance from reaching you. Through unexpected synchronicity, Judd uncovered this wisdom while paying his monthly bills. Rather than approaching each payment with dread, he began blessing every dollar that left his wallet. With each check written, he silently affirmed, "I trust in the endless circulation of abundance." Within months, his income doubled through unexpected channels, as though the universe delighted in proving his trust well placed. His experience illuminates a profound truth. Gratitude for the ability to participate in financial exchange opens the floodgates of prosperity. When you bless money as it flows outward, you demonstrate faith in its inevitable return. The universe responds to this trust by accelerating the cycle of abundance. Consider the ocean. Its waves continuously flow in and out, neither hoarding nor depleting. Your relationship with money can embody this same natural rhythm. Each expenditure represents not loss, but participation in the eternal dance of giving and receiving. Ancient practice of monetary blessing. Treat every exchange as evidence of circulation rather than loss. As you spend money, silently express gratitude for its movement through your life. Feel appreciation for the value received and the ability to participate in this flow. Watch how this shift in energy transforms your relationship with abundance, inviting prosperity to move through your life with greater ease and frequency. Chapter 38. Finding Freedom in Uncertainty. In the heart of a bustling city, Ivy built her life on carefully constructed plans. Each morning began with detailed schedules, each year mapped with precise goals. She believed control equaled safety until the universe gently dissolved her illusion. When her company unexpectedly closed its doors, her fortress of certainty crumbled, revealing a truth she had never suspected. Security is not found in controlling outcomes, but in trusting the flow of life itself. The teaching speaks to the deepest paradox of manifestation. Your greatest power emerges when you release the need to orchestrate every detail. What appears as chaos often masks the universe's most elegant orchestration. When your carefully built plans dissolve, you stand at the threshold of true co-creation with the infinite. Like water finding its natural course, life flows most powerfully when artificial barriers are removed. Your attempts to control outcomes act as dams, restricting the very abundance you seek to secure. The universe operates through infinite possibilities, yet your limited perspective can only imagine a handful of solutions. When you release your grip on how things must unfold, you allow wisdom greater than your own to guide the way. Leonard discovered this truth during a period of profound uncertainty. After years of following a predictable career path, he found himself at a crossroads with no clear direction. Instead of frantically searching for immediate answers, he chose to approach each day with curious anticipation. He began asking, "What wonderful surprise might unfold today?" rather than demanding to know the entire journey in advance. To his amazement, opportunities arose that his planning mind could never have conceived. A chance conversation led to an unexpected collaboration. A wrong turn introduced him to his future business partner. What seemed like delays revealed themselves as perfect timing. The spaces between his knowledge became fertile ground for miracles. The art of manifesting requires a delicate balance between clear intention and open acceptance. You are invited to state your desires clearly while releasing attachment to the form of their arrival. Think of yourself as an artist who chooses the colors but allows the painting to take shape organically. When uncertainty arises, resist the temptation to force immediate clarity. Instead, treat the unknown as a blank canvas upon which the universe can paint with infinite possibilities. Your role is not to control the brushstrokes, but to maintain the vibration of trust and eager anticipation. Remember, the universe's imagination far exceeds your own. Its solutions arise from a field of infinite potential, while your planning mind operates from limited past experience. By embracing uncertainty, you open yourself to possibilities beyond your current conception. Sacred practice. When paths ahead seem unclear, find a quiet moment and breathe deeply. Place your hand over your heart and whisper gently, "I trust my unfolding." Feel the spaciousness this creates within. Remember that empty space is where creation loves to doodle its most magnificent designs. This simple practice transforms anxiety into adventure, resistance into receptivity. Chapter 39. The Symmetry of Giving and Receiving. In a small coastal village, Peg lived by strict accounting of favors given and received. She kept mental tallies of her generosity, noting how often she helped neighbors with errands, shared her garden's bounty, or offered a listening ear. Yet beneath her giving nature lurked a subtle resentment. She felt others rarely matched her level of thoughtfulness. The more she gave, the more isolated she felt, unaware that her own resistance to receiving created the very imbalance she resented. The universal law speaks clearly on this matter. Energy must flow both ways to maintain vitality. Just as nature requires both inhale and exhale, the cosmic dance of abundance requires both giving and receiving. Your resistance to accepting creates blockages that prevent the full circuit of exchange from completing. Peg's breakthrough came during a morning meditation, when she recognized how often she deflected compliments, declined assistance, and minimized her own needs. In protecting herself from vulnerability, she had interrupted the natural rhythm of exchange. The universe sought balance, but she allowed traffic to flow in only one direction. In the same village lived Wallace, who discovered a profound truth through his own journey. As a successful merchant, he had always measured giving in material terms, until a wise elder suggested he expand his definition. He began to notice how offering his full attention to others counted as genuine giving. When he truly listened, without planning his response or waiting to speak, he created space for authentic connection. More surprisingly, Wallace learned that receiving didn't always mean accepting physical gifts. When he allowed himself to be touched by others' stories, when he let appreciation fill his heart at small kindnesses, he completed vital circuits of exchange. His relationships transformed not through grand gestures, but through this subtle rebalancing of energy. The universe operates through perfect equilibrium. Where giving flows naturally, receiving must follow with equal grace. Your resistance to either side of this equation creates the very scarcity you fear. Practice. Attune yourself to the rhythm of exchange today. Notice opportunities to both give and receive with equal gladness. When someone offers help or appreciation, breathe deeply and accept it as the universe maintaining sacred balance. Let your heart open equally to both sides of abundance's equation, keeping cosmic circuits alive and flowing. Chapter 40. The Spiral of Expansion. In a quiet mountain town, Tessie sat surrounded by achievement certificates, gripping them as though they might dissolve if she loosened her hold. Each morning, she reviewed past successes like talismans against future loss, unaware that her fierce attachment created the very instability she feared. Her tension whispered a dangerous message to the universe. I don't trust abundance to stay. The wisdom here runs deeper than simple manifestation. Life moves not in straight lines but in spirals, each turn bringing familiar scenarios at elevated frequencies. What appears as repetition actually signals advancement. You're not going in circles. You're ascending a spiral staircase. When you find yourself facing similar situations, recognize them as opportunities for deeper mastery, not punishment or regression. The universe brings back certain lessons not because you failed, but because you're ready to understand them at a more profound level. Rufina discovered this truth when her business faced challenges reminiscent of earlier struggles. Initially discouraged by what seemed like backward movement, she noticed something different. While the pattern felt familiar, her perspective had evolved. Where once she panicked, she now saw opportunities. What previously overwhelmed her now invited strategic thinking. The revelation transformed her approach. Each recurring challenge wasn't a setback, but a checkpoint on an upward spiral. She began treating repeated patterns as confirmation of her readiness for the next level. Like a musician revisiting scales at increasing complexity, or a martial artist practicing basic moves with deeper understanding, Rufina recognized that mastery comes through spiraling returns. Your journey follows this same cosmic design. When old situations resurface, they carry new potential for expansion. Instead of resisting these returns or berating yourself for not learning the lesson, welcome them as signs of your readiness for deeper wisdom. Ancient practice for spiral ascension. When familiar challenges appear, pause and whisper, I recognize this dance, but now I move through it with greater wisdom. Feel how your current understanding surpasses your previous encounter. Let each repetition reveal new layers of mastery, transforming what once felt like circles into conscious spiral ascension. Part 5. The Infinite Conversation with the Universe. Chapter 41. The Lightness of Intention. In a quiet garden, surrounded by withered flowers she had obsessively tended, Beryl checked her manifestation journal for the 100th time. Her jaw clenched with determination as she recited affirmations like military commands. The universe, sensing her strain, seemed to step back, waiting for her energy to soften. The ancient truth whispers, creation thrives in lightness, not tension. When you approach your desires with the heaviness of desperation, you unknowingly push them away. The universe responds not to the force of your will, but to the magnetism of your joy. Think of children building sand castles. They create masterpieces precisely because they don't view it as a test of their worth. Their delight in the process attracts assistance from waves, wind, and passing strangers who stop to admire or help. This same principle governs all manifestation. Finn discovered this wisdom while pursuing his artistic dreams. Where once he had attacked his canvas with grim determination, he began treating each painting as a playful experiment. He would laugh at mistakes, turning them into unexpected elements of beauty. Soon, galleries began calling, drawn to the infectious joy emanating from his work. His breakthrough came not from increased effort, but from decreased seriousness. He approached each day in his studio as though playing in a sandbox of infinite possibilities. The universe, sensing his lightness, matched his playful energy with delightful synchronicities. Your desires are not burdens to bear, but invitations to dance. When you release the weight of needing specific outcomes, creation becomes a game of discovery rather than a test of worthiness. The universe delights in co-creating with those who approach life with wonder rather than worry. Sacred practice. Choose one goal that has felt heavy with importance. For the next 7 days, approach it as though you're a child at play. If you're manifesting abundance, turn bill paying into a game of gratitude. If seeking love, treat each interaction as an opportunity for joy rather than evaluation. Let laughter lead your desires into reality, knowing the universe always says yes to those who play with possibility. Chapter 42. Living as the Answer. A merchant named Cora sat beneath the old cedar tree each dawn, her journal filled with endless spiritual queries. When will my destiny unfold? How do I know if I'm on the right path? What signs should I watch for? Her questions multiplied like leaves in autumn, while life remained unchanged. The universe speaks through experience, not intellectual pursuit. When you position yourself as a seeker, endlessly questioning, you remain in the energy of seeking rather than finding. The deepest wisdom emerges not from asking, but from becoming. Your relationship with the universe transforms the moment you shift from student to embodiment. Questions create separation between you and your desires. While living as though your wishes are already fulfilled creates an immediate bridge to manifestation. The law of attraction responds not to what you ask, but to what you are being. Dean understood this when facing a career transition. Instead of repeatedly asking how success would arrive, he began carrying himself with the quiet confidence of someone already thriving in his chosen field. He dressed each morning as though heading to his ideal position, spoke with the authority of experience he hadn't yet gained, and maintained the peaceful demeanor of one whose path was secure. Within weeks, opportunities appeared that matched his embodied energy perfectly. He hadn't needed to force connections or repeatedly question his next steps. By living as the answer rather than the question, he had become magnetic to circumstances that confirmed his chosen reality. This represents the final evolution in your partnership with universal law, moving from seeker to knower, from questioner to embodiment. The universe cannot help but reflect back what you consistently demonstrate through your way of being. Consider how different your energy feels when you stop asking, "When will it happen?" and start moving through your days as though it already has. This subtle shift transforms your entire vibrational broadcast from one of longing to one of completion. When you catch yourself falling into endless questions about timing and means, gently redirect your energy into being the evidence of your fulfilled desire. Let your posture, your smile, your tone of voice, and your casual choices reflect the reality you wish to experience. The universe will have no choice but to reshape circumstances to match your energetic certainty. Ancient practice for embodied manifestation. Begin each morning moving through the world as proof of your fulfilled desire. Reality cannot resist reflecting an answer already walking around. Your physical presence becomes the strongest affirmation, requiring no words at all. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The ancient wisdom you've uncovered through these chapters reveals a truth both simple and profound. The universe responds not to your words, but to your state of being. What appeared as complex spiritual laws were always natural principles waiting for your recognition. Like gravity or the turning of seasons, the law of attraction operates whether acknowledged or not. It is the faithful mirror of consciousness itself. Through each teaching, you've moved beyond mechanical manifestation into authentic partnership with universal intelligence. No longer must you shout affirmations into the void or strain to believe in distant possibilities. Your natural state of being, your emotional frequency, your assumptions, your quiet certainty, these form the template that reality must follow. The universe holds no preferences and makes no judgments. It simply reflects with perfect precision the energy you emanate in each moment. Your doubts appear as obstacles, your faith as opportunities, your joy as abundance. This is not punishment or reward, but the impersonal operation of cosmic law. What you now understand is that manifestation was never about learning new skills, but remembering your innate creative power. You were born into this universe as a natural broadcaster, continuously sending signals that shape your experience. Your task is not to master new techniques, but to consciously direct the influence you already possess. When gratitude becomes your breath and joy your native tongue, you need no special practices to attract your desires. Your very presence becomes a magnet for aligned circumstances. The universe bends toward you like flowers toward sunlight, responding to the clarity of your love. This is not a power to be forced or a system to be worked. It is simply the way things are, the eternal dance between consciousness and form, between inner state and outer reflection. You participate in this dance with every breath, every feeling, every moment of awareness. Your role now is to carry this knowing gently, not as a burden of responsibility, but as a recognition of your natural creative partnership with existence. The universe awaits your signal, ready to mirror whatever frequency you choose to embody.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.